Hey everybody, I would just like to introduce you to our guest tonight. We've got Kate and we've got Emma of the book. And by the way, the book is off again, girls. By the way, it is, honestly, that it is. I'm waiting for number 2 coming out, guys. If you click in the link below, guys, you will find the link to Amazon for the book and other places. So we'll let it fill up for a minute. That's what I usually do, is I let it fill up for like 5 minutes, and well, they're waiting the others coming in because I don't know what my other co-host is. She's probably doing a rain thing. So why don't you tell us a bit about yourself, Emma? First of all.
So obviously I grew up in Sharon Rectory. That's the reason why I wrote the book. It was my experiences from growing up from a child. My parents bought the house and renovated it. So I was brought in from a young age and I didn't have any ideas of the hauntings going on or any
Yeah.
stories that was linked with Sharon Rectory. It was my parents would have heard stories with my mum being local to the
Mm-hmm.
property. So she grew up with the stories and heard the scary things that would have went on over the years. Hi.
This is this is my co-host Drew. Where have you been?
Hi Drew.
Sorry, late, guys. I'm always late.
This is Emma, and this is Kate from the book. I
Hi.
hope you've read the book. I tell you to read the book.
I have read the book and I recognise Emma because I've been watching a lot of the videos that I take it you've done. You've got your own channel as well for the Rectory.
Yeah, the YouTube
Yeah,
channel.
we'll
Yeah,
share
we've
we'll
just
share
been
the link out.
Yeah, I've been looking at that as
Yeah.
well. It's a very interesting place. The book doesn't
Yeah.
date justice just how big it is.
It's
It
a
is.
beautiful
It's
house.
a big house. Yeah, it is a big house, and there's just so many different rooms, and kind of there's a lot of people will get lost in it. You know, they walk in
Right,
one room and they're like, "Where do I go from here now?" So
Because I didn't realise it was as big until you actually look at it on the channel, your Sharon Rectory channel, and you realise just how
you
big it really is.
I looked at it
amazing.
for Google Earth and I thought to myself, that's a nice wee house that. And then I looked at it for Street View and I thought, my God,
it's
that's a
huge.
beautiful
It's big.
building.
Front,
You
the
can see
front
why
is
your
only like a
parents were
small
attracted
piece.
to it.
Yeah. Oh,
I
it
was
was
like,
in complete
wow,
ruins whenever we bought the house. It was not
that must.
renovated.
No
Right.
wonder
You
it
tell why
takes.
they've seen the potential in it, though. It's an amazing
They had
place.
a vision. They had a vision whenever they wanted to restore it. They wanted to try and restore it back to its original state.
It's beautiful
So
inside it.
just over time, and they're still renovating it 20 years later. Do you know, it's been so
It's.
much to kind
I
of
like
It'll be
that
an
room.
ongoing process.
There's a room. You've got a room that's really old fashioned.
Oh yeah, the dining room.
Oh, that's beautiful. I was sitting
Yeah,
there like, oh, look at that.
I know. My mum, she collects wee bits and pieces, from charity shops and car boot sales, and
Yeah,
over time she just collected everything, and she has an eye for the design for the house. She has,
yeah.
a
It
vision of
makes you wonder
what
if
the
maybe all
rooms.
that stuff did actually belong to the rectory at some point and it's found
It
its way
does.
into
It
like
looks like
local
it should
charity
be.
shops.
It's maybe
It
making its
does
way
look
back.
like it should be. Yeah, you
No,
never
Does
know
it's
because there
interesting?
was there was an auction years and years ago of old furniture that would have been belonging to the property before um my mum and dad bought it. So a lot
aye.
of furniture was sold off. So you never know, that furniture could have came back and we wouldn't have
It
even
makes
known.
you
So
wonder,
it's
too. I mean,
Sure.
yeah,
it makes you
yeah.
wonder if there's any
So
spirits with any of the furniture or any of the
probably.
knickknacks.
Yeah, probably. More than likely, especially with them being second hand, you don't know. And
Well, you
there's a
maybe
lot
that's where that
old.
maybe that's where that bad entity came from that did actually start picking on you just
Well,
out the blue.
No, I think this was been long before the
that's for
house was even
somebody
built, I
else.
think. Yeah,
Right,
It's for
okay.
somebody else. Well, what's going to happen tonight is we're letting it fill up a wee bit, and Emma was just telling us a wee bit about herself. Drew, I'm going to ask you a couple of questions, and then Drew, because I know you like to ask questions
I
about the
can't
place.
shut up.
So, Kate, why don't you tell us a wee bit about yourself? Well, it starts.
Yeah, well, I'm a clairvoyant medium. I was born like this. It's down my mother's side of the family. My first sight of a banshee cat was around the age of 5. It came to my family home, and I was watching it. It looked like the cat was made of a cloud, and it was wailing away. And the next morning, the news came to the door that my best friend's mum had passed away that night, and that their neighbour had seen and heard the banshee outside her mother's house and was wailing. So I think the cat come in a kinder form to let me know that something was around the corner. I never heard the banshee. It wasn't until years after that I understood what it was about, but I knew it meant something. I was able to tell people my dreams, and they would come back to me within weeks and say that your dreams have come true. This has happened, that has happened. I've been able to predict disasters. I've been a paranormal investigator for about 10 years. Was a fortune teller, done everything, cards, cups, hands, you name it, I've done it. You know, I have 5 sons, and they're all very gifted themselves in their own way. So it just seems to have gone from generation to generation. And then Emma here, it was a friend of her mum's, which I done a reading for many years ago. Left a note at my door one night asking could I help a friend of theirs, and I said yes. So I went down and picked up the 2 ladies that asked me, and they guided me towards Emma's house, and we were coming up the lane. The minute we saw the view of the house, the car stopped dead, the engine went off, the lights went off. We all looked at each other. Never was in the place before, and we just sat there quietly, and we're there for about 10 minutes, and the next thing the lights came on, the engine started, and we just traveled on. So that was my first encounter with Sharon Rectory. Must be nearly 20 years, Anna.
It is, and I must tell everybody. I
You
must tell
must
everybody to
think
visit more.
you
Pardon?
must
It's a
think
great place.
well.
Yeah, just letting everybody
It's
see the book.
honestly.
So just can,
You must feel as if it's like your second home, Kate, because you have been involved with the rectory for so long.
Yeah, well, they're quite, as Emma saying, you know, you've got the resident friendly spirits, and there was Mrs. Waller. Mrs. Waller protected the place, and then Mrs. Waller got tired eventually over the years, and it's Emma and I at school tonight. Emma brought a good point out tonight because Mrs. Waller said to me that she wanted to rest in peace now. She was tired. But what Emma said tonight, because when Mrs. Waller seemed to have went over into light, the other spirit seemed to dominate, didn't it, Emma? The more negative spirit.
Mrs. Waller was like a protector. When she was grounded, she was here. And I felt like, as Kate says, then over time she grew tired, and whenever she's seen my family moving in, and obviously the abilities that we had that we didn't realize that we had. And
I was happy that your mum was taking care of the house as well, I would assume, because she probably seen that your mum was doing a good job.
The house itself. Go on, you go, sorry.
Oh no, it's just over time then, she probably seen then that this is the family is going to help me. And then it was Kate then that came in and helped us and guided us then, and ever since we've known each other and kept in contact. So
definitely. I mean, if anybody could help you, it would obviously be Kate, because Kate was the first person that actually walked through the door as a medium, wouldn't it be? So you know the place at the back of your hand, as they say.
And the spirits will recognise Kate. They'll like, here comes Kate.
You feel that, Kate, that they've opened up to you? Any other psychics go in that they don't take to, that they've just basically took to you, Kate? Do you feel that yourself?
Do they feel like they've opened up to me, the spirits? Is that what you said?
Yeah. Rather than just a random maybe investigator walking into the house, maybe wouldn't get anything, but because you've been there for so long, you feel as if like you've made the connection that they need.
Well, I didn't go in as an investigator to begin with. I went in just as a friend of Lisa who was sensitive to the spirit world. And when I walked in, I actually closed my eyes and asked them to guide me around, and I didn't want to see the house at all inside. And at one point when we went up the stairs, I kept saying I want to go further and I want to go up, but I was hitting a blank wall. But it wasn't until at the end of it then they told me there was actually used to be a 3rd floor, which I was trying to get up to, but it wasn't there. But you see, there are resident spirits there, and they're good, they're kind, they get used to the families get used to them, and they will never mean no harm. And I don't think anybody wants them to go. But whenever you go up, it isn't that they've got used to me or I've got used to them, because there are always unexpected spirits there. You can feel the ones that haven't been there before, and this is over the years. You know, what they're encountering now over the last 2-3 years is completely different from the past, isn't it, Emma? They're not like they were in the past. It was more subtle, but I think,
it was more subtle. Kind of over time,
Do you think?
I felt like this that and the house that's been here. It's always been here. It's just been hidden, and I think we just kind of know what it was over the time because it started to kind of show itself, and we seen signs of what was actually here. So, as I say, like we would have probably was always here. We just didn't know
because it seemed to be when you ended up becoming a teenager, wasn't it, Emma? When you hit teenage age and then you tried to move into the flat yourself, well, we think it's like a wee granny flat, we call it.
That's
kind of broke then. It was kind of just went off the rails for me then because
that's what I was going to say.
That was newly renovated, and obviously, what does renovations cause? Storing paranormal or evil.
Exactly.
It's maybe woken something.
Yeah, it probably that was something that lay dormant for so long
Yes.
had been awoken. And obviously, when me moving in, then it was my energy that it was feeding off, and I just
for sure.
drained, lethargic, sick, physically sick, where I wouldn't have been able to get out of bed. I got depressed. I started to kind of hide away from my family. I just became just a different person. I just changed, and I started to get attacks then with the scratches, and would have woke up with like tall shadows just at the bottom of my bed. There was actually a point in my bathroom where I looked in the mirror, and right behind me, I could see faces coming through the wall. I was actually just telling not today.
So that you must have thought you were gone insane and things, though, wouldn't you, Gemma?
Hurt yourself so much, and you think, "Am I actually seeing this, or am I going mad? You know, what's going on with me?"
What I found with the book, what I found with your book was, and I found it really sad, is the fire and how there was an electrical fault.
I know.
And your alarm kept going off.
Yeah.
And was that the good spirits?
It's as if they were trying to warn you something was going to happen, wasn't it?
Probably was Mrs. Waller trying to alert to say, listen, guys, this is something that you need to be aware of. And it's funny because Kate did mention in the past, through walkthroughs of the house years ago before the fire, that you always said, be careful of the fire and make sure your fire alarm's working.
Yeah.
And then the smoke alarm starting to go off. And then obviously not long after then the fire happened. So
that was what happened with the roof, wasn't it? You had said many years before it, be carefully walking up there with that roof, and then somebody did fall through it years later.
My dad fell. Yeah, he fell.
That's right.
So
it just shows you, doesn't it? It's not always maybe meant for that type of space and time. It could be 10 years down the line.
But it's funny because whenever I was starting, I went through the years and I kind of started writing about the experiences. It kind of all added up, and it kind of like at the end, I was like, oh my God, that was connected to this time. And I never would have twigged it, unless I was writing, so it's just writing it down, you realise then how it all connected through, and what Kate had said had actually happened years later. And we didn't really realise at the time having the conversation until you look back then and you connect the dots.
But it was happening to other family members as well.
It's where you said, in the book, when the firemen were actually putting the fire out, they seen somebody in the flames.
See?
And was that
that time
the
then?
sadness?
Yeah, they didn't know anything about the house, anything about the history. They were there to do a job, and we were all out of the house. We were standing outside. We were devastated, watching the fire. And myself and my mum were just out of the back. Victoria had left to go to our
that must have been terrible.
Stage.
I know.
My dad was like fighting the firemen with a hose to try and get in to try and stop this fire, because all his work, all his renovation, all his money
I know. All the hours. Your uncle and your grandpa as well. There was the all put in, isn't it?
And
it must have been terrible seeing that happen. Your house burning.
It was. Yeah, and then the fire chief actually came over to us after, and he says, "Was any of you in the house at any stage during the fire?" And me and Mum looked at each other. And we were like, "No." And we said, "When did you?" And he says, "We seen a woman standing in the hallway." And she looked at us.
Right, what is the rest as well of then?
So we probably was sitting back watching the house go in flames, and whenever we looked at each other then and we were like, oh my god, that must have been her. The fireman was like, don't want to hear no more, don't want to talk about it. He just freaked out at this point. Like he's just
what I was going to ask you is,
freaked out by that.
I know.
did you ever try and
Freaked out by
trace
the
any of the
person.
graves? Did you ever try and trace any of the
Yes.
graves? That's what I was going to ask you.
The graves, actually, there was a show done on the BBC called The Land
Yes.
Hame, which was focusing on Reverend Hamilton that was
Right.
murdered in the house.
Yes.
That aired at the start of this year. So they focused on his grave and where he was buried. Mrs. Waller, now she would have been buried in the local parish of Bray. So I've actually been going, but the graveyard is so old and it's overgrown, and you can't even make out the gravestones now at this stage. It's one of them forgotten graves.
Right.
So very try and find her grave, but I did have I did find a piece on her grave. I have that piece that somebody sent me that was wrote in her grave.
Yes.
Right.
This is going back to 1997, so it's unless it's a kind of a graveyard that's still been kept up now, it's just very difficult. But I know that William Hamilton was buried in Derry, so his grave obviously is seen and it's well kept. It's just Mrs.
Right.
Waller because it was in an old graveyard. And that's
See,
the
is that
only graveyard that would
it's
have
the
been.
part of these
That's what-
times as well, isn't it?
That's what I was thinking. You could,
document
if you could maybe find her grave and maybe
and go
Yeah.
speak
put
to
flowers
her,
down
flowers
or
and things,
just to acknowledge, then she
You don't
might be
even
like,
need to have a grave anyway. You could go into the gardens of the rectory and just do it. They use I had see
Did a beautiful blue hydrangea plant for her outside,
right.
and
Right.
we've always been seen as the blue lady. So blue obviously was a colour that was linked with her.
Yeah.
So we wanted to kind of keep that as a representation for her. And my mum actually painted the living room in the house blue
Yes.
because that would have been
Good
Mrs. Waller's
stuff.
favourite room. So it's like we
Do you think
have
she still
minimal-
comes and visits you, even though you did cross her over? Do you feel she comes back? Yeah.
If there's a
Yeah,
worry in
she's-
the house, isn't it, Emma? If there's a sickness or a worry or something ahead, she usually
Worry
makes an appearance
is
and
there.
they
Oh,
know.
right. Just kind of gives a
Yeah.
heads up. Right.
Yeah.
She's there.
That's good.
She's definitely a protector. Definitely a protector for here.
There's Danny.
So the
and
back,
Danny.
I was going to ask
Hi.
your sister, did she ever move into the flat or anything when she was
She
like,
She
did she feel the
moved
same as
in,
you?
Hmm.
Yes, she was giving it all that at the start. She was like, "No one's going to scare me." She's very confident. And I was like, I says to Mommy, I'd give her a day. I'll give her a week. We'll see. We'll give her a week. And
Right.
she actually start now. She done grand. She says, I don't feel nothing in here. It feels fine. And after a while, then it started to change and it started to scare her. It
Right.
really did scare her
Yeah.
one night. So she was like, nope, that was it. And she legged it into her old room and she stayed in her old room then. She was like, I'm not going in there. So it's not used as a bedroom anymore now. They've took out the bed and she just uses
Right.
it as in like the grand room. So she just like does her, her wee bits and pieces just for social media in there. So
The 20 minutes that it takes.
I know,
actually got
I know.
an actually interesting question. In the book, you talked about the stairs next to your bedroom.
The ominous stairs.
The
there you
stairs
go.
back
It's good.
We're back again. We're back again. It's the weather. It's the weather.
That's the ghost.
We'll
I've
blame the
been the
weather
ghost
outside.
That's the ghost.
And it goes to why you talk about stairs.
We're talking about the stairs. See
They're
how
a
you
portal
said
for
about.
sure.
See how
The
you talked
stairs.
about the stairs. I mean, there was in the book. You talked about, was it your sister? I think it was your sister that said, I can't remember. She's seen somebody in a hospital gown coming up the stairs on all fours.
That's like horror movie material. The
And
stuff
that's
that
what I
she
was going to
describing
say.
there.
I was reading
Because
that
That's
in the
because
says
that
that
might be her
she-
fear, though.
Yeah, I think it was.
Aye.
It plays on that. It plays in a thing that you have most scared of. You're most scared of.
Look,
and
if you're
it's
scared
going
of
to, like,
spiders, it might.
Yeah,
Yes.
it's going to.
Do you feel it is like a human spirit, though? Do you feel it has been
No.
human at some point, that spirit? No? No.
No, this is
Definitely
not.
demonic.
It's not. Not
No.
things like that. Not things. If it was a human spirit wouldn't mimic another human spirit.
Right.
You know, this is going beyond that. This is something a wee bit more darker. Like, but Victoria described this thing coming up the stairs behind her in a hospital gown. It was like
I know.
distorted, kind of coming up the stairs, crawling up the stairs behind her, and
It's
she
son
knew
a
nothing. It
horror
was like
movie,
running
isn't
behind
it?
her,
Maybe
and
it's
she
done
would
that.
disclose
Just
it.
maybe it's done
does.
that.
What do you pick? Kate, what do you pick up on that? Do you feel as if it's what level of entity do you think it is?
What do I think it is?
What level do you think it's demonic or just a bad spirit? Or
For a while, I thought it was elemental. You know, that it was a spirit from the earth, but I don't think it is that now. I know there has been Ouija boards in the past used in it, so something could have been unleashed, and
Not
it's
from
usually
us, by the way.
Right.
It wasn't from us. It was from people when the house was abandoned.
Yeah.
People would have
Right.
come up and done the Ouija
See,
boards and things. So that's where it opened gateways.
so
I'm
that's
totally
probably
against
why
the
there's
Ouija
a
board.
couple of portals in the place. Do you feel
Yeah,
there is there portals in there?
no,
Sorry?
whoever
When I
opens the board would need to close the board, you know. But
Right.
Yeah.
it's not all negative, isn't it? Not Emma. It just seems to be one in particular, doesn't it? It just seems to be the one.
If you could get
It
rid of
was
that one,
there backstairs. When I was reading the book, it was the feeling I got there backstairs, as if there's maybe a portal or something on there.
It's close
Because
by.
it kind
There
of
is one
splits
close
up the
by.
two houses.
Yeah, there is one close by to the back staircase.
Uh-huh.
The other portal, as we were talking earlier about two
Under.
portals, there's one that's in one side of the house, and then there's one at the other side of the house. So
Yeah.
you've got
Right.
the in between too. So as I say, there's an upward portal and a downward portal. So one has negative spirits come through, and one has good spirits come
Positive.
through.
Right.
Yeah.
So it is just, it's hard to kind of explain.
See, that's the
to
only
someone
thing
who
I'm
doesn't
worried about.
get the mind of it.
That's the only thing I'm worried about is Danny. If it's a twisted
I'd
spirit,
recommend you watch the
Yeah.
channel, guys, on YouTube. It's
I
really
mean,
interesting.
that you think a demon's bad, but then a twisted spirit, that's
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah,
you need to talk to Danny and
True.
Sherry about that
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
We call it
Oh
the
no,
trickster.
Yeah.
human.
Right.
Yeah, a human spirit that's
So I
kind of
don't
like
think it is.
a twisted kind of, as you say, like a human spirit that
Yeah.
has like, you know, this
Turned to
negative
the dark
side
side.
to it. That's the one.
Right,
That's the one that actually can thrash out to you and kind of physically harm.
Yeah.
I do
Right.
believe that was the one that was
Have
in
you-
Coachman's residence that actually was attacking me.
Yeah.
Right.
Aye,
It kept
I read
drawing
that.
all your energy.
Have you had any poltergeist activity?
Yeah,
Sorry,
we've
how
had
many?
things.
Any poltergeist activity?
Yeah,
Who, me?
we had.
Emma?
Well, both this is for both of you.
All right. Yeah. Well, and
That's an interesting question, actually, Chris, because, Kate, do you find that once you have been to Sharon Rectory that it affects you when you go home, maybe even something kind of follows you, even if it's just the energy? Do you feel that when you leave the place?
no, I
No?
don't. No, I don't feel anything
But
follows me.
whatever's there just sticks to Sharon Rectory and
Yeah.
that's it. It doesn't want to go anywhere else. Right? That's interesting.
That's
as well.
obviously it's obviously tied into the
It
area.
actually has now. It has. There's been people that we've had, not necessarily Kate, but there's been people that we've had in the house that actually contacted me after and say that there was activity in their house that they never had before. So it's not like it just
Right.
stays in Sharon the whole time. It can, and I do think that it's an energy, and energy can be anywhere. It doesn't necessarily need to be stuck in one location. So like it can be still here, but affect somebody else somewhere else.
Exactly.
Aye, as I was saying,
Maybe if they feel as if they're a threat to the place, it maybe does follow the person home, you know.
Have you
Just keep it coming back.
have you ever had any poltergeist activity in the house?
Yeah, we've had pictures thrown off the wall. We've
Really?
had things go missing. That's a common thing where you've had you could have put something down, and minutes later you can go back and look for it and it's gone. And then,
So it's been
for
teleporting then.
example, yeah, and this is what's amazing is that, you know, where does it go? Does it vanish and then
I've always wondered that myself.
That baffles you, doesn't it?
You don't see it moving at the time, like you just see it disappear and
I've
then
heard
it
it.
comes back.
As if it's like a movie and that screen's been took out. That's crazy, isn't it?
Yeah.
I've heard about it. If it's teleportation, it'll appear
Think
somewhere else in the house.
stairs or something. It's crazy.
It's just like as a black hole opens up and swallows it and then puts it out somewhere else. It's really weird. Now I
I I have found that spirits like keys for some reason. Have you noticed that?
Yeah.
Keys.
And jewelry's another.
Yeah, they're like magpies.
I don't know why they like them.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Because they know you need them. That's why they like them, because they want to uproot your day. That's why they take your keys.
It's not just that. It's just, see if you lose something, right? See if you've got a nice spirit in the house, right? And you lose something, and you say, "Oh, go and help me," it'll appear.
For sure.
It'll be there, and it'll be like,
Yeah.
"How did you know where that was?" I mean, it's crazy.
Yeah, it's definitely. It's one thing.
Hey guys, Hank. So,
I missed the cat.
see the house itself. What was there before the house?
We don't know. I think it was just property. It was just farmland. It wasn't.
It's on ley lines, though, isn't it?
I've noticed that it is on the ley lines.
It's on ley lines. Yeah, it's on ley lines, and actually there's
so that could be a big.
That's not far away from the house too. So obviously, you know, when you have a mass rock and it would have been graves, really, really, really old graves. If there is no headstones for them anymore. It would have been just there. That's actually down the front entranceway to the house, which it wasn't there. That's only a modern laneway in the last 150.
So where was
but the old entrance would have been the back entrance now that we use, which is like a dirt road from a field just kind of to the property. So that would have been the main entrance to the house.
That's the problem. That's where we'll need to rely on Kate, isn't it, to try and maybe tell us what's there before the rectory, because I mean nothing's ever documented.
Yeah, I mean, you don't know. There could have been burial grounds.
Exactly, Chris.
Go back to the old maps and stuff. Anytime we've tried to go back and through old maps, there was nothing here. So it's probably just been a forest or just farmland.
But then if you've got the fairy folk, and they've lived there, somebody's built a house there, maybe they've got pissed off, and they've maybe went, "We'll curse it." And ever since
even the elementals. The elementals might not like the fact that a house was there because of the ley lines, because they'll draw energy out the ley lines to survive, you know. So, but the elementals wouldn't do that level of haunting, no chance, I don't think.
No.
Do you know where it came from? Have you ever actually figured out where the bad entity got in? Is there any signs, Kate, that you've figured out through being in the house?
Any signs of what? Sorry?
The negative entity did come from.
Where do I think they've come from?
I think it was the land, maybe. Or do you think
it's very hard to pinpoint. It's very, very hard to pinpoint. Obviously, there are some spirits there, young and old, you know, who worked in the house for many years back, over the hundreds of years ago. And they seem to be the friendly ones that I think maybe they regarded as part of their home, and you know, they're comfortable there, they enjoyed their life there, and they like to remain there. And because there's so many sinister stories we've heard, you know, about other people have died in the house. Maid has died, the young girl has died that was pregnant when she was young, and then do you remember the Emma in your CCTV, the girl that was hanging from the back tree?
Outside.
Wow.
And then there's reports of a baby behind the wall in the cellar, and another report of someone was buried under the kitchen. You know, and then the guy that was attacked in the house, remember, from years ago and murdered or something. Remember, you heard this? So there are ongoing stories popping up. From Emma sort of wrote the book, and the book's been circulating around the local area. It seems to be that it's triggering people's memories from from the, you know, the older generations in their family, that they remember when they were children, that they heard, you know, them coming back from the house and the things were going on in the house, and it's sort of reviving those memories, and it just doesn't seem to have an end to the stories.
It makes me wonder if there was maybe like a baby farm or something there at some point. Now, way back in the Victorian times, people would pay people to take their babies, and I know there's a couple of
Yeah, there was actually, I think somebody did mention that over the years that we've had people come in, and obviously different psychics and what they picked up when they came through. And that was actually one of the things that was picked up, was that they
Right.
believed that there would have been, because it was a rectory and it would belong to the church, you know, they thought
Uh-huh.
that they couldn't provide for their
Aye.
children. So
Yeah.
this is a safe haven for them. So they were dropped off there, and they were, you know, obviously
Uh-huh.
you know, that they
I
were
mean, whether they
Aye.
died of natural causes or maybe they did like be murdered or whatever, it's still the
See
fact
how
that
you
that's where all the babies came from.
see how you
yeah.
talked about the cellar of the
Hmm.
building.
Yeah.
See how we were having that discussion about maybe being a body buried down there.
Yeah.
It'd be
You
good
see
if
the
you could
size
maybe
of the
get a.
cellar?
It'd be good if you could get like a cadaver dog. You know what I'm
It
talking
would be
about.
interesting to see. I just think that, but we don't know how of this. Like, there's no documentation of this girl
Mm.
being buried there. This is all just kind of just came out over the years of soap
Right.
stories of other people's
Yeah.
experiences, and then whenever we've had different mediums in, they've linked to this young girl, and it's all led down the cellar, and she's apparently buried
Right.
behind one of the walls that led into a tunnel. The tunnel has
It
been
is
bricked over
massive
many,
down
many
there,
It
but
years.
is.
guys, when we talk about a cellar, we're not just talking about one room. There's
It's
about what, maybe 15 rooms. It looks like
Oh
that's what it
yeah,
looks like. It's big.
there's loads of rooms, like there's loads of different rooms, you know, bedroom wise, like it's
Yeah,
probably your average house of, you know, with 4 or 5 bedrooms.
it's
It's
a
not
big
like,
cellar,
it's a
guys. There
big
could be
cell.
yeah.
anything down there.
But you got to remember in the olden days, like 100, 200 years ago, the cellars and days were kept for wine. If
Fire
Uh-huh.
food was kept
Yeah,
and
in there,
things.
yeah. And
it,
that was, and the tunnels too, you see, because they would have probably brought stuff up from the tunnels and stored it from the cellars
it'd be
and then
good if you could
inside.
find one of them.
Where did
It'd
the
be good if
I
you
tunnels
could
would,
find it.
go?
yeah, sorry.
Where did the tunnels go to? Did you ever figure
It
that
was
out?
It was bricked up. We don't know where the other end of the tunnel is. I do
Right,
believe it's either it links into a field, it's up into a field. It's probably a lot of earth over it now over the years, because this is going back 300
right.
years ago now. So that's
So it's
been,
probably just an escape route then. It's not
Well,
been like for the rectory to the church or anything,
yeah.
that type of
well,
No,
thing.
no,
It's
that
just been an
is
escape place.
an escape route.
I
Yeah,
was actually looking into it.
Right.
I see you've got a well in the property.
yeah, yeah.
Yes.
We've got a
I,
well. There's actually a few wells. There's
yeah.
one that we still have now that we know that's there. That
Right.
they're on the map now.
Well,
There's 3 wells in total around.
that's an unusual number. 3 wells. Three. I
Yeah,
mean,
3.
here's an interesting. There's places like that around about where I stay, right? And the houses have tunnel systems, and do you know where they come out? Some of the tunnels, in wells,
That's
Wow.
actually that, you know, that could be possible. Definitely, that
Yeah.
could be.
Yeah.
because it might be the fact that it leads to the well.
It
One
could
of them
be
might. It'd be good to do
definitely. I
some
know that
magnet
there's.
fishing down them.
I know that
Definitely,
there's
Chris. I see. Yeah.
the time of the year now. One of that well was used because when the firemen came, they only had like so much a supply of water, so they had to rely on, you know, something else. Like so, my uncle actually remembered
Well,
about the
what?
well, and they went and they couldn't get the pump working, and then eventually then they got it going,
Look at
and
the well.
so the well was nearly drained after the fire, because but it wasn't a time that we really thought maybe we should stick a camera down there, see what's actually
Aye, I
down
think
there,
you
because
should.
You
we've,
don't think,
I
don't
yeah,
you
think you
know?
should.
Yeah.
now, because it's covered over now, because it's actually in the one of the back fields, and if you're walking down you could fall in, so dad has it covered over
Dangerous.
in case,
Well,
because it's
the
dangerous.
area around
And
the
the
area
other,
around about me. Oh no,
yeah,
on you go. Sorry. You go.
the other wells, then you see that there's one that would have been up actually where the it's in somebody else's a farmer's
Aye.
field now that would have
Right.
been belonging to the property at the time. That's probably covered over too, because it's farmland now,
Probably.
and you know, so, and then the one then that's up beside the actual one that we use at the minute, um is like bogland. You couldn't even walk down there, so that them wells are kind of out of bounds, like, but the main
Right.
well would be interesting to drop a camera down to
I
see.
think you
That'd be
should drop like a
different.
GoPro down it, or even better, get a bit of rope, put a magnet on it, and drop it down. You don't know. You might pick something up like a knife
He'll
or
tell you
musket. You
put a
never
ladder
know.
down it
Yeah.
next and climb down.
No, the reason I say that is because the
Put the
house up the
wellies
back
on.
from
Aye,
no, the
a
reason I say
GoPro
that is
back.
because the house up the back from me is about 300-400 years old, and it's got wells in the back garden, but
Aye,
it's
that'll
also
have a
got
look
tunnels
there.
running for its cellar, to the wells.
That's
And it was to save them.
Used to do that, doesn't it?
It was like
Interesting.
escape. That's what I'm thinking. Maybe
Yeah,
I'm
that
maybe
actually,
thinking.
it's something we can look into and see.
I would.
Mm.
You get a lot of water spirits as well, and if
That
water
was
spirits under a house too, that can cause activity as well.
Mhm.
You know, that's a possibility. Yeah, if they
Mhm.
do go right under.
It's a
Mhm.
good theory. I have to try and look into it to see maybe if
That's
that's what it's
definitely
all
I would.
interesting.
linking
It might
into.
be. It might be that bad spirits maybe attached to something down one of the wells.
Yes.
Well,
It's been
we
like a
do
Because
burn or
there was
have
the
been told that there's something in the well that is that is
yes.
linked with blood. So it could be a murder weapon that was thrown down there. You never know.
Could be.
You think that you think you're
To
right.
get rid of it.
Here's an interesting scenario. The woman was shot, right? So the woman was shot. She went into the cellar, right? Now, the guy that shot her. What was if when he ran away, the one that shot her, he jumped his musket down one of the wells?
Well, he felt really bad, didn't he? You mentioned that in the book, didn't you, Emma? The fact that the spirit
So
did come back because he felt
yeah,
bad.
this was the part of the United Irishmen. This was somebody that was linked to that. So he obviously he had kind of regretted, firing the shots, and he was the one that hit Mrs. Waller. So
Yeah.
this obviously stuck with him, and he
Right.
obviously he was still living after the siege and after the murders. But whenever he did pass, he could never forgive himself because an innocent
Right.
lady died. So he was
God.
stuck. He was stuck looking for forgiveness from her, and
That was interesting, wasn't it?
spirits. What I've realized over time too is sometimes that if they're different eras, they don't see each other, so they could be missing each other.
Yeah.
So
Yep, that's very true.
She was probably missing him, and he was obviously looking around there for her, and
Yeah.
they couldn't see each other. So when
Right,
Kate
that's
had her
quite
her
interesting.
through, he twigged to that. Then the spirit outside, and then this Mrs. Waller inside, and he was looking for forgiveness for him to
That's
actually be able to move on and for him to get that peace, that closure.
it's sad, isn't it? It is sad.
is.
I mean, you
It's
think of what
emotional.
happened to
Very
her.
emotional when you think of
She
it.
was trying to protect.
I know.
Yeah, and I do feel that he's got a lot of like I said, he's got a lot of guilt, and he like in a way that like obviously because of his beliefs and stuff, he feels that it was his fault for her getting killed, and like you're saying, like with the energy and that, like that when spirits are around each other, they don't always see each other. Like you could two spirits could live in the same house together for 20 years and never ever see each other. It
That's
depends on the
crazy.
energy plane that they're in because they're all in different levels.
Yeah.
So
Right.
The living picks up on all the energies, the spirits. Obviously, there could be 100 years apart, and they would miss each
See,
other.
that's what I think
So
about
it's
the
and another thing with the well, it's the water, isn't it? Water,
Yeah.
a water product. The spirits are very attracted to water, so not just there might be something down there linking them. That the fact that could be an old way that they used to go through as well. So
You don't find it unusual for I find it really weird. I find it really weird. A place having 3 wells. I've never heard
I
of
know that's
that.
crazy, isn't it?
I've heard
Maybe
maybe
just because
2,
it
but
was so big a
3.
property, though.
property, and there was a lot of gatehouses around it. So there wasn't
That's
just
maybe
one
what it was
gatehouse.
then.
The maps
Right,
was
so they
like
would maybe need a few.
that would have been linked to the actual main house because it's a rectory and it was built and it had purposes and they had help and they had a lot of farmland around. So you can just imagine it wasn't just the one house here. It was the gatehouse, and then it was like another gatehouse at the other side, and it was
Right.
surrounded.
And
And I think there was
I
a
do
little
feel
pond close
I
by
do
too that
feel
they would have
there's
used.
been wandering spirits that's come into your house.
Yeah, oh, totally.
You know what I'm talking
It's
about?
like,
Wandering.
yeah, it's funny because I don't know if it was you, Kate, or somebody else actually had said over time that it was like this is a train station for ghosts because they
Yes.
just seem to be
Yeah.
Because it's in the book that.
yeah,
Probably because there is as much nice spirits there as well. They probably drew in. It'll be like a big glowing bubble likely in the other realm.
they see it, they see this light, and they're attracted to it. And obviously, with portals being on the property
Yeah.
too, that's bringing in spirits,
yeah.
so it could just be
Yeah.
coming from somewhere else.
I
And just
think you
living
need to get the
on
bad
property.
portal closed. as quick as possible.
The thing is where there is a portal, there's two. Like the thing is where there is a portal for them to come in, there is a portal for them to go out. Now you don't want to close the portal where they're going out because as you're trapping them here, aren't you? So like I said, I felt there was a portal to the bottom of your building and to the top of your building, and I do, you know, maybe the well could be another way that they used to come in, but I don't feel they use that way anymore. That's kind of stopped, but.
Because the tunnel's blocked, probably, Sharon.
Yeah, that as well. And like obviously in the olden days, they would have used those sort of places when there were wars and battles. They would have used that place to get people away and to be able to hide and gain safety. Now, well, you've got to think that, you know, then it might have been cut off. There might have been damage to some of the of those places. People might have lost their life down in those tunnels trying to get away from places. You just don't know, do you? So
then or something.
It's very true. And the well is actually that part of the house where there's a tunnel or there a portal, sorry. So next to where the portal is. So it's crazy.
God, I want to rake a boot. The metal detector.
Oh, I know. We'll need to go to Ireland. Definitely. All these nice places in Ireland.
And my shovel. Yeah.
I'll come and get Drew and go with Drew.
Definitely, we've got to Derry. As soon as the lockdown's over, we've got to Derry. That's it.
That's what we need there after the lockdown.
I've got a lot of people that want to see me and want me to go to their places, and it's like I don't know where to start.
Well, I know, okay, we'll need to talk to the place.
I don't know if it is, Emma, but see how I talked before about being behind you? There was something behind you. There's like you've got like a kind of tree thing behind you on a.
It looks as if she's got cat ears.
No, it's not that. There's the plant at the side. It's like a plant. It's like something in a vase. What is that? It's like a heather or something.
A bit of lavender.
There's a bit of lavender.
Is that what it is? There's something keeps going past and forth, back and forth. It's like it's pacing behind you.
Yeah, the good spirits like that.
And it's good spirits like it, and the good spirits hate it. It's not happy that you're doing this.
I just think that they don't want me talking about the house. They don't want me talking about the experiences that goes on here. They don't want me to be open about any of that because obviously that's bothering them. I can hear talking through my headset, you know.
Right. See, I've not got my earphones on, and I'd probably hear it. We were on a live one night as well, and someone came through. I think it was Winners Live, and it says, "Tell somebody I'm sorry."
It's crazy. It's a woman talking. You know, that's kind of trying to talk.
There's something. There's one.
She's maybe trying to get you to say hello to everybody, Freya. It's maybe Mrs. Weller.
No, what I'm getting is I'm no psychic in any way, right? It must be because all my friends are bloody mediums. That's what it must be. The problem is I must be picking up stuff.
No, you're opening up, Chris. That's what it is.
Anyway, there's somebody pacing back and forward, and he is not happy.
Yeah, no, he won't be because he doesn't like her revealing what's going on. It's deep to him, and he doesn't want her talking about it.
But I've got the sense of good spirits to be knowing about you.
Because Emma's so nice and upbeat and things, he'll not like that. He'll not like the fact that he can't scare you. Do you know what I mean?
I think the good spirits won't rid him.
Yeah,
or whatever it is, if it's a he.
Do you know what it is? It's like it's holding back the good spirits to try and kind of come through too. Because we found that years ago, whenever Mrs. Waller was there, we were kind of hearing the doors bang more often than your footsteps and stuff. Now I feel like this is dominating all the good spirits as well as us and draining us because them good spirits can't seem to come through as much as what they did back in the years ago. So like
pushing them back.
Yeah.
There was something I was going to ask you. Well, I remember. Do you actually go to investigate in Emma different places?
Yeah.
I was going to ask you. Does any of the spirits for the house go with you to protect you?
I a few occasions now where I feel like that I've brought something along with me because it's be something that's
the thing is 9 times out of 10 they will. If there is certain spirits in your house that protect you, it doesn't matter where you go, they will be with you because they are your protectors. They're set there to be protectors.
So I was curious about because if the spirits of your home actually are aware that you do go to try and help other people, and if they do accompany you to help you, do you feel them with you, Kate, when you go elsewhere as well?
Yeah, well, where I live at the moment, there are a few spirits roaming about here on the 3rd floor, and whenever I go out, I ask them to come along with me.
Right, that's interesting, isn't it? Right.
Yeah, if you feel that you can protect me. But if you feel that I need to be aware of something, let me be aware of it. So I always invite them with me.
That's good thinking, that though, isn't it? Because you trust them.
Yeah,
well, I invite mine. I invite my guides and my spirits because I trust them more than anything else. So I'll be like, come with me to the graveyard or to the woods, and you know, they always say, Sherry, stay away from there, or
right.
Yeah, it's good that they do protect you.
No, that's all right. I'm just enamored with the black shadow that keeps walking up and down.
I know it keeps walking.
He's pacing because he doesn't like that she's talking. He doesn't want people.
He doesn't like the lavender there. I don't think.
Down.
You see it where the lavender is, Chris, going across there. Yeah,
that's again. We can see it again.
Yeah, it keeps catching my eyes. Just goes across where the lavender is and back.
It's the reason I can see it is because I've got one.
So who else stays in the house now, Emma? Are you still staying in the house?
I live in the gatehouse just at the back of the property.
Right,
So
okay.
it's on the property and we experience things here too.
Right.
Obviously not as the thing that's in the main house kind of usually would stay around. It lurks around outside. On
you know, something keeps going.
The
I know.
You see that?
Someone keeps playing with your mic.
Your mic keeps dropping out.
But it does that quite a lot.
I keep hearing what sounds like a woman. I thought I just heard a woman go, like a
I can hear.
Really?
I can hear it.
Crazy. But what was I speaking? I can't even remember what I was.
Yeah, we're talking about the gatehouse as well. You feel the spirit comes at you in the gatehouse.
Yeah, my sister in the summertime she sits outside in the balcony, and she did see the summertime past there. There was like a dark kind of mist and shadow that was lurking around outside my house. And it's funny because around Halloween last year, now my son, my youngest son, was jumping back and forth on the sofa. And he stopped and he was looking outside the window and it was dark outside. And I was like, and he says, "Who's that outside, Mummy?" And I looked out, I couldn't see nobody. And I says, "Why, what do they look like?" And he says, "It's got sharp teeth and it's doing this here to the window, clawing the window." Well, I was like, it's a Halloween decoration because I didn't know what else to say to him. So
you keep an eye on that then, isn't it? Do you feel as if any of your kids have got gifts?
I do, yeah, I do. They don't know that, like me, whenever I was growing up, I didn't know. My mum and dad didn't say there's go there. You know, if I saw things or if I told them something, they would acknowledge it. They would say, "It's not going to do you any harm. You know, just say a prayer and you're all going to be okay." And obviously, that's what I'm trying to do with my kids too. You know, I'm trying to don't want to have them, scared.
No, you don't want them seeing scary things like that.
My eldest son now, he's 8, and he actually went over to my mum the last day and says, "Your house is haunted, isn't it, Mama?" Or Nanny. That's what he said. "Your house is haunted, Nanny." So they know, but it's just you try not to kind of encourage.
Do you think?
And there's such a there's such a difference between when you were growing up and it was like everybody took the mickey at you, but nowadays because of YouTube and things, I bet you that the kids, like your kids, are more they won't get as much downlash as they will. You know what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, because whenever I was younger, 20 odd years ago, when you talked about anything paranormal or any ghosts, you would have been classed as crazy.
Right.
Crazy ones.
You'd have been told that you're nuts.
You would have.
Yeah.
Nobody
my boy's got abilities. My boy's 12 years old and he's got abilities and he's like that as well. And I've always been trying to be so open with him about what it is because I don't want him to be scared of it. I'm like you, I don't want him to fear it. I don't want him to not be aware. So I always send him things like beads and crystals and stuff because he's seen them a lot at the minute. And he's like, "Mum, why do you come into?" I said, "Because you're like Mummy. You just got
to
He's hoping to take the new." That's interesting.
Hey, everybody, how you going?
Hi, Danny.
Hello, how are you doing?
Hey, Danny. Thanks for coming on, my friend.
Welcome.
Danny, do you pick anything up?
Well, you mean at her house there?
Aye. I can see somebody.
We feel as if there's something keeps floating past the lavender, Danny.
Well, yeah, there's definitely something there. There's 4 human spirits. 2 of them are male. 1 is a female. 1 is a child. There
I've seen the
is
child beside my bed.
There is kids there.
there is absolutely no elemental spirits there. They're not interested. They're not interested in the place. They're not interested in the land. They do swing by.
Yeah.
The elemental spirits do swing by that place, but only because they're zipping across the ley line.
Yeah, they're not in your house. They're not affecting you in whatsoever.
There
is a demonic. There's definitely a demonic.
Aye.
So
You get rid of it.
Yeah, definitely.
there is a very nasty human there.
Yes.
Who
I said this to you
oddly
earlier,
enough-
didn't I, Chris? That there's a nasty,
Yes.
there's a nasty man there. I feel there was women murdered and sexually abused there as well, like
Yes.
way back.
Yeah.
oddly
I
enough,
think I have
this
an idea
human,
where it's located.
this human isn't human.
Right, he pretends to be human.
It's a mimicker. So
Right.
That's a
it's not
trickster.
a demon. It's not a demon. Okay, there's no demon there, because if a demon was there, he would possess he would want the whole house, and the human spirits that would be there, that would be in peril all the time, and there would be a lot of fighting in the house.
Right.
So it's not a demon, right? It's not a twisted human, thank God for that one. But yeah, it's bloody nasty, that's for sure.
Yeah. What my mum is a trans medium, and obviously, over the years she's developed it more because, with the house, and her experiences, when they bought the house at the very start, they heard the stories, they were very skeptical, but whenever the things started to happen, obviously.
See, they've seen the hellhound as well, didn't they? They've seen a hellhound.
Yeah, they did. Yeah, they have. Yeah, I do pick up on the demonic.
Seen a hellhound. Sorry, Emma seen the hellhound too, didn't you, Emma?
Yeah, I've seen it too, but it's not only just been us. There's been people, actually, local people seen it. There was actually one man says that he was chased by a black dog out of the property. So we don't have black dogs. We.
Oh well, bloody hell! If you've got a hellhound there, okay, that makes sense because, yeah, if you've got a hellhound, you've got a male banshee.
Yeah, you've got a negative energy because they sniff.
Not negative energy. She has a male banshee that lives there, and they aren't like a female banshee. Okay, a male banshee is a total different kettle of fish now. Okay, a male banshee can change its form. It can be whatever it wants to be. Okay, it brings a hellhound with it. It always has a hellhound because he's the master of the hellhound.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, the male banshee is the master of the hellhound. Okay. So you can't have a hellhound without a banshee. There's always a male banshee somewhere in the past. Now he will pretend to be a demon.
Okay.
He will, and very convincingly, by the way. And he will mimic. Here's his trademark and seal: is he will mimic loved dead ones to try to get confidence and to try to get you to allow him to stay.
That's the one, Emma, we call the trickster.
He's kind of
really good. Yeah, he keeps picking
he would be like a trickster. Okay? He would be like a trickster, okay, but 10 times more powerful than any trickster you're going to run across.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Right.
He's probably a level 6 or level 7.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which is not good.
He's not going to like the love that you'll bring as a family.
I wouldn't want him sleeping in my bed, if you know what I mean.
No.
I don't. Yeah, no.
Yeah.
That's what it is. Just because she's in a big family and all that love, they don't like it. They don't like
No,
all
they
that
don't
love
like
that you have for each other.
It makes you wonder. See how you
Like
said
I
your
said, they will
shit.
try to make you fight against each other.
All right, kids, one at a time. One at a time. Okay. Let's go with the host. Say your question, please.
What I was saying is, our son seen something at the window, and it had sharp teeth. Was that the hellhound?
That'd be the hellhound, yeah.
Well, that's
Or the only other thing it could be, if it wasn't the hellhound, okay. The only other thing it could be, it could have been the banshee trying to be a skinwalker, showing you the face of a skinwalker, right?
We talked about that too.
But I would put my money on the hellhound.
Oh yeah,
I'm going to show you a picture my sister drew. This was going back last year, of the face that she actually envisioned. My sister would be very, very, very good psychic medium herself, you know, and she can actually hear them like she's speaking to them on the phone. But she actually had a dream. Now I'm going to try and put this up to the camera to see if you see it. And she drew in the dream what she.
Yeah, I can do that.
Do you see it?
Lord.
That's what she my son can. And see at the top. This was a
okay, could you put that back up again?
Put it up again.
Okay. You see how it's got the serrated pointed teeth?
Yeah.
Okay. That's a male banshee.
Yeah, that is, yeah.
Really?
About them.
That was an actual picture that was caught of it. If you can see.
Oh, there it is, right there. Yeah.
Oh, right there, you can see it.
They'll try to shapeshift. They'll shapeshift as well sometimes.
Yeah, you can see it clear as day. But see, one thing that they like to do, one thing that a male banshee likes to do is become a black-eyed child.
Oh, that makes sense.
Seriously?
That too.
Black-eyed children are not good things either.
Yeah, he'll become a black-eyed child, like appear to be a black-eyed child. That's another way it tries to see. The banshee's power comes from being accepted in the house, or being too afraid for someone to say, "Get out of my house," or tricking you into thinking it's something harmless, so that
pups. I did say about that. I did say about that before they came on. That I felt that as a child that there was something like that round her that showed as a child, and then it's got the way it has.
So you have, without a shadow of a doubt, a hellhound there. Okay?
Yeah.
No doubt. Male banshee, no doubt. Now the big prize with a male banshee, that means you've also got a Wendigo, you've also got a black-eyed child, you've also got, because he can be whatever he wants. Okay?
Yeah.
So he can be a shapeshifter, he can be a walker. Right? Okay. Plus you got, like I say, there's two human males there. And the reason that, from what I just got from Astro, the reason the males were there, the two of the males, the reason that they are there is because together they can't leave the area. So yeah. So the two males, the two older males there, killed and raped 4 women, and that's why they can't move on. Okay?
Yeah, and I said this. I did say that I picked up women were being raped and murdered, and that.
Yeah, yeah.
One male there smells like gunpowder. There's one male that really stenchy, real stench gunpowder, but nothing modern. More like the smell of a musket, right?
Yeah.
It's got a really heavy. Okay, he's stuck there, apparently killing female. He's stuck there. He's stuck there because of guilt. He's not stuck there because he actually killed the person. He's stuck there because he feels guilty for killing the person.
Yeah,
and can't find its own forgiveness, so that it can't go nowhere.
It makes sense. It does make sense.
There's a young girl there. There's a young girl there who drowned in a well. So then they buried up the well and they filled it up with gravel. Okay, so she's there because of the well. And there's 2, I don't know, they look like coal miners. Like they were mining coal. But apparently they got crushed in a cave-in, right? So they're scattered. They're called scattered humans. Their brains are like scattered, right? So in your house, you're going to have things like you'll feel a strong wind run through a room, and then you'll hear the footsteps after the wind's gone. And then something might fall off the shelf after the footsteps are gone, right? Because they're split into three things. So you'll hear something walking up the stairs, and then you might see a shadow go up the stairs, and then you might hear the stairs creak again, right?
Yeah.
So these shattered people, you're going to have a lot of bumps, crashes, poltergeists, things missing. You put something down, it's gone.
Yeah.
You think, wait a second, I just put my book on this counter here, but you turn around and it's on the counter on the opposite side of the room.
What did I say earlier on? That's what
Because
happened.
if you walk through their incense, if you walk through their beings, think of them as a 10-foot long, half-inch wide wave of energy. If you walk through that energy, say you're saying, okay, I'm going to go in the kitchen, I'm going to make myself a nice cup of tea, maybe grab a biscuit, whatever. So you go to walk into the kitchen, you get into the kitchen, and instead of doing that, you make a bloody sandwich.
Right.
And then you go, shit, I was going to have a biscuit and a tea. Right? It's because when you walk through their energy, they're shattered. So you're shattered.
Yeah, they'll make you confused or not sure what you're doing.
In 5 minutes, your brain's going to be shattered, and you're going to be going, wait, I was going to do this, or was that, or there's always going to be 2 or 3 choices of what you were going to do, and you never do what you were.
But she's got spiritual energies as well, Pups. So that could be another reason as well, isn't it? Because she's probably picking up on their energy as well.
Oh yeah, she's a bloody magnet. But that's beside.
Yeah, she is a magnet. I know she's a magnet. You can see it beaming from her. You know what I mean? She's a big magnet to the spirit world. Has been for a very long time.
Well, some people are like deacons, okay? What's that?
Do you know, with me telling my story about my experiences and stuff too, do you think that there actually would be a cause from me being such a magnet to energies, or does that not related?
Okay, yeah. I'm sorry. I must admit I didn't read the damn book, and I haven't watched the cinema. I feel bad. I will check into it honestly, but to be quite frank, I haven't got a clue what you're talking about. However, whenever you talk about spirit world or you talk about spirit religion and stuff like that, all the spirits are listening. I mean, given. Would it cause you to become a magnet? No. It would cause them to notice you, but it will not cause you to be a magnet. How it becomes a magnet is because when you start being interested in them, and you've reached out to them about 9 times now. When you reach out to them, now all of a sudden they recognize your energy. So that's how you become a magnet, because they know your energy. Okay? So you've been reaching out. And who the hell been using a Ouija board in that place? What the hell's up with that shit?
There's been a lot of people that have used a Ouija board in that place. Youngsters.
Look, I want you to get...
Not my family at all.
Okay, stop. Here, I want you to do something for me. I want you to get some vanilla extract, okay?
Okay, yeah.
I want you to get a white candle and soak the candle in the vanilla for 24 hours on your windowsill, so that both Sister Moon and Brother Sun can bless the candle. Okay? Then light your candle, because if you don't do this, you're going to get a lot more trouble coming in the future. Light your candle and walk through every room in your house and say any negativity from and here, this is the key, cross communication must be absorbed into this candle and negotiated. Right?
Okay.
Because what happens is you've probably got a portal on your stairs, a portal in the basement, probably one just outside your back door. There's a garage. I see a garage. There's an upstairs.
There is. I've said there was an upstairs. There's a portal upstairs. There's a portal downstairs.
Hang on, let me think, please. You turn to the right. It's not the door on the right side. It's the one on the left side. Second door. There's a portal right there.
Okay. Oh, as you go up the back staircase or the front
Yes.
staircase? Are you seeing a small staircase or a large staircase?
It's a smaller staircase.
Yes. Yeah, okay.
Have your back ones.
Okay. There's a nasty portal there. You want to close that one. Because that one there, that's where the black dog, okay, not the hell dog. This is a different dog altogether. That's where the black dog comes and goes from.
Yeah. It's funny because
Okay, so it'd be good to close that portal just to keep that black dog out.
Yeah, because actually recently my mum woke with a dog barking in her bedroom, and we don't.
Well, that would be the black. That would be the black dog, dear. That's the black dog. They're a pain in the ass. They wake you up. They try to scare you. Give you a heart attack. You know, they're not very nice.
That's going back about a week ago. You know, so that.
Yeah. See, they're not very nice. So go close that. Well, go close that door for the black dog. The best way to close the door for a black dog is put white salt across the doorway and say, this is to clean the energy, and then put black salt behind the white salt and say, nothing negative may pass. Leave it there for about a day. Sweep it up, cross it outside. No more portal.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
You don't want a black dog in your house. You know, you don't want a black dog in your house. The hell, the bloody hellhound is bad enough. You don't need
I've just noticed something. I've just seen something, right? I'm on Google Earth right now, and I'm actually worried when I see it. I'm looking at the Sharon Rectory, right? But see down there, it looks like there's an ancient burial ground just down there. What's this? Right, wait a minute, I'll see if I can show you. Let me solo right out. Right, see how you've got your the Sharon Rectory? You see that? Right, that's the Sharon Rectory up this end, right? Let me zoom up.
Okay.
What is... This is only a quarter mile, not even quarter mile. What is that?
Is that a title on it, Chris? No.
I think
it looks like a bit. It looks like a sort of like a berry, but it looks like there's like mines sort of like there's potholes.
I think that could be the one where I was telling you, Chris, where there's a mass rock. I think that could be
right.
It's how can I do
That's
this?
interesting. I need to look that up and see what it is.
My screen's just went off. Right, wait a minute. Come back out of that. My screen's just went off. That's weird. That.
I've actually
got a really sore head now.
Yeah, because it doesn't want you to talk about it. It's not wanting you to see things.
The very bottom of my back.
Because you just discovered that.
Okay, I'm sorry, but I can't hear what she's saying. Could you let her say what she just said? Something about a head.
I'm getting a really bad headache now, and a pain kind of shooting into the bottom of my back. I didn't have it before. I've had a headache on and off today, but it just kind of got very bad just recently.
Okay, you know what? Say these two words. Want your headache go bye-bye? Okay? What you're going to do is you're going to picture that you know what a disco ball is?
Yes.
Okay, a big disco ball?
Yeah.
So what you're going to do is you're going to picture that you're going to step into this disco ball on the inside. And you got all those mirrors on the outside, okay, which is going to reflect energy back to wherever it comes from. So what you want to say, 2 words, just say, and watch how fast this works. You're going to love this. You don't even have to practice this shit, okay? This shit is just natural for you, okay? Okay, mirrors on. Say out loud.
Mirrors on.
Yep.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. How do you feel?
That's actually eased a bit.
Yeah, isn't that cool? Anybody with
whenever you feel like that, just say mirrors on.
Anybody with psychic ability or any gifts from the spirits, okay? The creator did not have to say to the tiger, don't go in the water. It didn't say to the fish, don't climb the tree, okay?
Yeah.
It's not going to tell the spirit workers, okay, people that work with the spirits, it's not going to say, turn on your mirror, okay? All you have to do, it's a party. It's like a bird. When a bird's in danger, it flies away, right? When a tiger needs to do something, it's got its claws and teeth. When a psychic or anyone that has spiritual abilities is being attacked, you have a natural defense that was given to you the day you got your gift. And it's called mirrors on. You say mirrors on, and those mirrors go all the way around you, and anything negative coming toward you has no chance in hell of getting to you because it's automatically bounced back to sender.
Even when you're on an investigation, if you get that sort of feeling, just say mirrors on. It's a protective circle. It barriers you and protects you. So
yeah, and it just said a little sign pops up and says return to sender.
Yeah, return to it just gone.
It just return to sender, right? So if something's sending you bad energy, you say mirrors on, it goes return to sender. It goes right back to where it came from. Okay. And anybody with any gifts has that ability. Okay. Now I'll tell you a story about that. Okay, just so you know, when I was a young lad, just practicing my druidism and my shaman and my pasteurization, as I was like a young lad, I had these problems of these headaches, these migraines, pain going down my back, all this shit, right? Here I am, 5 years old, and I feel like I got run over by a cement truck. Now, see, on my 13th birthday is the first time in my life I ever wanted to punch an elder. And an elder is a person that's teaching you, okay? Because he said to me, oh, you got a headache? Why don't you turn your meters on? So I did, and I like, dude, wait. For 8 freaking years, you've been seeing me suffer like this, like I'm gonna die. And all I had to do was say, you're just telling me this now? I was a little bit pissed. I'm not gonna lie, I was a little bit pissed, okay? I was like, dude, seriously? What are you smoking? Why did you tell me this like 7, 8 years ago? Right? But no. So anyway, I'm telling you now, mirrors on. It's a lifesaver and it's a gift, okay? So just make sure to use it.
Yeah.
Lost Soul Paranormals put a post up. Chris, go and put Lost Soul Paranormals post up, please.
There you go. I have something in my place that keeps attacking me, leaving marks on me.
When it goes live.
Oh dear. How long has that been going on for, Lost Souls?
3 or 4 times in live streams, he says in another comment. You're maybe going to have to mail the guys privately, Lost Soul.
Mail, come in Age of Darkness.
Also, do yourself a favor, get a hold of my daughter Sherry up there, and she will explain to her everything that's going on. She will find out what's what, help you kick its ass. You know,
even if you're needing any ingredients, I've got the ingredients, so don't worry because I do all of that.
She's got, and the great thing about my daughter and Drew, okay, if they don't know the answer, they say, "Hey, tell me what I should do here." So yeah, you know, I'm quite certain
get straight to pups. It's not very often we need to, but when we get into a very sticky situation, we will go to my pups, definitely. Because he's a very wise man, he's very real, he's very good at what he does. Very good. I feel that's a mass burial.
Every time I see that, okay, that picture, every time I see that picture, I see 36 miners buried under it.
I'm feeling bodies under it.
Yeah, like bodies, like 37 bodies under there.
It looks like there's like something sunk in, like something sunk in and...
the red dot is the rectory, right? And it's just down here somewhere.
Oh, so you could go on the ley lines.
These tunnels that you've got going from your house could very well be linked to the miners and people like that, the coal people and that as well. Because if you think in the olden days they would have used the tunnels to move the trucks round, like the parts.
Coal too. There's a lot of coal there. I pick up coal.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, that's one thing. Anyway, don't forget to put your mirrors on. Don't let that shit get to you.
Always, even when you're on an investigation.
When you're feeling better, just say mirrors off. You know, and then everything's back to normal.
So here's a question for you, Danny. How does one get rid of a male banshee?
Yeah.
A witch.
Yeah, that's not something. That is not something. Okay, let me tell you about male banshees. Hang on, let me tell you about this. Okay. Male banshee is not something that you try to get rid of on a live stream. Okay.
No.
Yeah. So
it needs to be in person.
Yes.
Well, not necessarily in person, but it sure as hell don't want to have the open doors to 50 million other people because it can run through the internet and go wherever it wants. Then, right? You need that. What? So if you get a hold of me privately on my channel or something or whatever, I'll tell you the steps to take. You know, and then of course Sherry or Drew could help you if you don't understand what I'm saying. They can put it in other words for you. You know,
I think if one or the other's got to go, I think we should just both be there because me and Drew work together and we've got a shop together. So anything that we do, we should do it together because we work together. We're linked. So
I'm just the driver.
And you're the driver.
Hey, I'm just that old guy that's out in the middle of the bush sitting on a cedar tree going, seriously?
There you go, Danny. You can come to. You can sit in the passenger seat.
You're not just the old guy that sits on the sees the bush. You're the wise man that sees everything.
Hey, man, thanks, big hugs. Hey, Lou. Hey, Misty Cat. Sorry, guys.
Hey,
Aaron Owen.
I do think at some point when I come to because I do want to go to Ireland. I do think that Drew and Chris should come and we should maybe try to meet up with you.
Yeah, I'm bringing
myself. Get up there, do a little investigation.
Because there are some things that me and Drew would be able to do to put protection around the property because we're witches. We'd be able to do things to the grounds as well. So
yeah.
We'll have a few beers, we'll have a couple of laughs, it'll be great.
Right, Danny, next plane you're coming over. That's that. Next aeroplane.
Yeah, you should come as well, Pub. You'd be amazing there.
Actually, if all goes to plan, next January, I might be going to Scotland for a couple of months.
There you go.
So if all goes to plan, I'll be in the UK for a couple of 3 months, or until I decide, okay, I better go home and make sure that house is
I'm sure the spirits in your house will look after it.
But yeah, I have planned to go there. I got, I'm not too worried about property or anything like that. I mean, I have to worry about that kind of shit.
Danny?
He's face Scotland.
I'm born in Stonehaven, dude. I'm from Stonehaven, dear.
Right, I wasn't sure if you had actually been, if it was you were born in Canada.
Yeah, he's been to Scotland. Yeah.
Nice for you.
Yeah. Right. Okay.
Yeah. I tell you, I don't know if it is, but since Danny come on behind you, Emma, it's just got really white light.
Maybe it could be.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. I forgot to tell you.
This is like dark. It's like
Astro's behind the young lady in the bottom corner there. Astro's just hiding out.
And now that Astro's found his way to your house to protect her.
Wherever Astro goes, Aura would be there as well. Same as Shakara. That you've got no worry about them. They are protectors. They will not hurt you. They are very powerful as well, but they'll keep things under tow. You might every now and again feel an energy. You're not sure. If you get like a really hot feeling, that is them because they're elemental. They're elemental, but they're fire.
It's just
really
you'll get a warm and you get a light.
It's weird because behind Emma it was like dark, but no.
It's not dark anymore.
I don't see the shadow anymore. I don't see
the shadow. Look at that. You see that guy? Guys, caution, beware. Yeah, Mr. Robinson, we have a problem. NASA, Houston, we have a problem. That boy ain't right. You see that guy in there? That boy ain't right. Let me tell you right now. Okay.
Oh, dear God.
You'd have a field day with my pups as well. He's really funny. He's very funny.
That boy ain't right. I'm telling you right now. Big hugs to Mittens. Yeah. No, that boy ain't right.
I think
You want
whatever
me
was the
to
hinge
watch
it's gone.
That's interesting.
Let me tell you something. If being able to go squirrel and change your mind every 3 seconds could make you brave, okay? Eli's logic would make a rabbit slap a bear, okay? You keep an eye on that boy. That boy ain't right, okay? You keep an eye on him. He'd make a rabbit slap a bear, that boy.
It's interesting when him and Boomer's on together. That's all I'll say. It's interesting when
Danny's a great
Eli
guy.
family.
I mean,
He is. He's the best man ever on YouTube. He is. There is no one
it's
like him.
ridiculous how I'm still
Danny's-
fathoming out how you can these things. Yeah, I mean,
And
I might see a
we're
wee-
slowly following his way.
Yeah, I mean, it truly is. But it is weird how behind you, Emma, it's got lighter, and I've not seen
As you know, I noticed that as well, where the light's just gone round her. Yeah.
I was going to ask you, Emma, do you find that there's people contacting you a lot now that the word's getting out about the rectory? Do you feel as if there's a lot of paranormal investigators asking to come?
That was last year. Last year now would have been, it was every weekend, there was investigations, there was teams coming from all over, because they heard about, the rectory, and they heard about our experiences, so they wanted to experience it for themselves. And since this time last year, it would have been the 1st of November since that date we stopped them, because it was just amping up the senses here, and we had to still live in it, and it just
especially the ways the kids been there.
Yeah.
And I didn't want to kind of.
And it stirs them up as well. When there's a lot of people trying to invade on them, it upsets them. They don't like it. You know what I mean?
Of course.
So
it is. So we don't do any more investigations at all in the house now, because it's just it's left worse after, and it's like
They'll
a
just
ripple
love the
effect.
attention.
Yeah, it's like
Well,
a
if
ripple effect. You have an investigation, and it could be active for a few days after. So
well, if I ever come there, if I ever get there, okay, I'll come in and I'll ask the spirits, okay, if I check out crap and stuff, I'd be very respectful to them. If I ever get,
no, we are like that. We won't just go in and start doing stuff.
Look, I gotta tell you now though. The thing is, if I go there, don't subjectify me, okay? I've got a mind, all right. Like, no, I'm just kidding.
I've posted the link to the Amazon page.
I would recommend the book, honestly. It's amazing.
I definitely want to read the book, definitely.
Oh, you got the book. You got the book, mate. That's good. I'll tell you what we're gonna do. We'll get a hold of you on Messenger later, and I'll put you on Messenger, and you can read it to me. Okay.
I'll just take it to the station and put it
Or you can read it to me.
Or you can photocopy it and just send the sheets so we can read them.
I'll just wrap it in blue paper.
What was your scariest experience in the house? Was it what you seen when you were a teenager with the big spirit? Was that the scariest thing?
The scariest thing that I've experienced in the house. There's so many different experiences, and that was equally scary, from when I was a child to a teenager to adulthood. As a child, my scariest experience was seeing Mrs. Waller come into the room, and she was forming into this woman, and I actually felt her sit at the bottom of my bed one night, and she started to hum like a really light humming noise, and I didn't know who she was. I didn't know what she was. I was only 7 years of age. It was very young. So this was new to me. This was like, one of the things that was really scary to me. And that night she was humming to me, I was like, what's her intentions? Is she trying to comfort me? Does she know that I'm here? So that was as a child, that was the scariest moment for me.
So is that one of your first experiences then? I think the dog was before that.
Okay. Pardon for my apologies for interrupting. I gotta get out of here now. Okay, I gotta go now. Thank you for having me.
Danny. Thanks.
Okay,
Bye.
All right, love you too. Yes, into the spirit. Okay. Oh, and spirits in the house there. Hey, how you going? Feel free to come to my house and visit if you want. You can get a break from her. And if you want to talk on the spirit box, whatever, you don't have to. I can hear you when you talk anyway. Yeah, but just to warn you spirits over there, this is holy ground. So if you're evil, I believe your best bet is to stay about 1,600 miles. So, but otherwise, any other spirit may come here anytime. Okay, everybody, blessings to all.
Danny.
Bless be pups. Love you.
Love you too, sweetheart. Bye bye.
Bye, Danny.
Bye.
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 Oh my God, pups.
Danny's great.
That is my pups.
So at least you know now that you've got a male banshee. I didn't care there was such a thing as a male banshee.
No. See, I'm wondering if that spirit that you seen then as a teenager was maybe the banshee then showing itself to you then. Do you think that's maybe what it was?
The male banshees are very rare. They are rare.
Yeah.
They're around, but they're very rare. They're not like the female ones.
Because our son seen it out the window, didn't it?
The male that I seen outside now was a spirit that's been seen before on the land, and
Right.
we've actually got pictures of him. So it was definitely, he would have been a human spirit. He would have been a spirit that's linked to the land, because that would have been his routine and nightly routine too. Would have been walking the laneways, because he would have walked and closed the back gate, or the front gate back then. So when I seen him on the lane, he was probably just doing his walk.
The thing is that banshees are given quite bad names anyway, because obviously a female banshee is known that if you hear a scream or anything like that, it's meant to mean death. But the true fact behind about a female banshee is it's a female that's lived and had something very bad and traumatic happen to her. Normally something to do with death through birth and or something very horrible that's happened to her that makes her that way. And that's her energy, you know. The screaming and the wailing is her pain and her upset that she has.
Yeah, it's funny because see, a few months back, this is going back maybe March time, before lockdown and everything. We keep our bedroom window open a crack every night just to kind of let fresh air through. And it was really, really early in the morning. We actually heard a woman cry outside the house. And I actually thought, was it a banshee? So
and that is what banshees are. Banshees are literally like the women banshees are just women that have been through a very traumatic situation, and they wail and they cry because of their emotions and their feelings. Yes, they can do negative things and they can be dangerous, but they're not, like a lot of people think they're demonic, and they're not. They're actually a being that's gone through a traumatic situation, has changed them. You know, and the pain is the crying. They're crying because of that.
Well, that's what you would feel, wouldn't you? Is that anguish?
Yeah.
So it's a male banshee. It's an evil. Then I wonder what it wants. But that's the thing, isn't it? It's a curious.
Like, I wouldn't underestimate a female banshee because they can be dangerous. Still, they can. But the male is literally there because he's not good. Like, he causes harm and problems.
Son seeing something at the window, then I would worry about that. Maybe need to look into that a wee bit more.
But definitely do that vanilla. Definitely do that that vanilla abstract thing that my pop said to you, Emma. That will help you a lot.
Tonight, I'm going
with the candle.
Have a candle and I'll soak it, and then going around tomorrow then, and I'll burn it and make sure.
You got to leave it for 24 hours on the window to the light and to the moonlight.
To the moonlight. I'll be doing that tonight. And I'll have it open.
Oh, hi, Doom. Did I see Doom?
Hi, Doom's there.
Hello, everybody.
For a while. Send any questions.
I'll send it to you.
Yep.
Enlarge it.
Perfect.
Sending any questions, guys?
So are you a witch, Emma? Are you into like that sort of stuff?
I would do like nothing bad. It's all with good intentions, but you have
definitely good.
Doing things of good. I'm setting out good positive energies, and I want to kind of bring in luck and bring in love, and just good things, light things. But it's been a obviously with me growing up like this, I've opened myself up to the spirit world. I wanted to kind of learn from it, and I would do more.
The next step, isn't it?
Yeah, and the kind of the
Keeps
witchy
you
sense,
protected.
you're picking up your wee.
Yeah.
I think it's just because over time, or I was kind of like picking up wee things like because I'm a nurse kind of and my work day, my day job is in
Right, so
nursing
you're a
care.
healer then as
I feel
well.
like I'm
Yeah,
kind
so
of a
you
healer
heal.
in a
Yeah, that
sense.
makes
So I
sense.
kind of so that's what kind of I kind of brought in from my actual career wise to my
Right.
spiritual sense of the healing and I done Reiki healing. I've opened myself up more with the Reiki healing too. So I kind of twigged into all that. So it's just wee
I
things
according to the book, that's what you felt. Is that's when you kind of opened up a lot more was when you did do the Reiki healing. I noticed that in the book.
It's kind of my third eye kind of opened up more, and it was I
Uh-huh.
started to see more things and experience
It's a
and
good
feel
book.
things.
I must admit.
It's a brilliant
one.
book, guys.
It sounds like a good book from what you've where you've said when you've read it that it's been really good.
That's interesting.
I can't wait to.
The Reiki, I can never say that. The R word opened you right up because it was just there, ready to be opened.
You're tuned into the spiritual world. That's what
Uh-huh.
you're tuned into the spiritual realm with the Reiki healing.
It's a good job you did though, because I think it protected you a lot for a lot of things that you were seeing then on.
There's a question for one of yous. How do you recognise the sign of a banshee has visited? I don't know. Did
Well, you'll hear it. You would hear it, I would assume.
Well, you would hear it. You would obviously when they're around, you would get a very low feeling. You would normally with a male banshee as well. You'll see like them shapeshift. They will turn into other spirit and other energies as well.
Family members as well. Danny says they've got a habit of doing that, turning into family members.
They do. They'll turn into whatever. Not 9 times out of 10, they'll turn into things that you fear or things that you don't like. They'll show themselves that way. Hello, Pups, you're back.
You said that you thought your dad was at work or something, and he was at the back door or something like that. I'm sure there's a bit in the book you said that. Was it your dad, maybe?
Yeah.
At the back door. I'm trying to think.
That as well, Lou.
Something that you seen at the back door, but you knew they were at work. I can't remember if it was maybe your uncle even.
It could have been some stage. It's very hard to.
See, I'm just thinking if the day shape shift, that's maybe what they've done. I can't mind if it was your uncle or your dad or maybe your partner. I can't remember. I've no long read it.
Did you say you seen a man? Did you not say you seen a man walking?
Yes,
in the fields in the book. That's because I went to the page there.
In the laneways, that's the man I'm telling you that
was
he was closing the gates and stuff at night. You know, and that's I actually seen him during the day one day walking up the lane, and he was wearing a long black coat and he had a hat and he had like a really pale face. He was like nearly grey in colour, and he was expressionless, and he was walking up towards me, and he was as solid as you and me, and he came walking up. And he was walking really slowly towards me, and I was like, "What do I do? Do I go and get my mum? Do I chat to him? What I do?" And I says, "Are you looking for my dad, or are you looking for my mum?" And he never spoke to me, and he just turned really slowly, walked away, and disappeared. And that's when I was like, "Why does these things happen to me? Why am I seeing all these things?" It was.
But you were relieved when you did have a wee sister. Once you was another family member there. You were a bit relieved.
For a bit. Focus on her.
That's actually.
It's interesting that when an only child, then your sister comes along and see if she does have the same experiences.
I was an only child until my sister came along, so it was a big gap. But since Victoria was no age, since she was able to speak, she was always able to see, a little girl spirit in the house.
But you see what Danny said?
Did you ever find out what happened to your dogs?
The dogs?
That's what I happened to them.
They just don't stay in. I just think they're spooked by something. They really are.
No, remember the dogs when you were a kid? See, when you were a kid, you always took the dogs out, they just disappeared. Did they just disappear?
I would follow the 2 dogs. We had 2 Labrador dogs, and I would have followed them everywhere. And I wandered around. I would have, like Sharon Rectory, because there's so much land around. It was like growing up, and it was like a jungle, and you went on adventures, and you were going trees and the grass, and I was such an outdoor child, a tomboy in a sense. So I just followed the dogs around outside, and just my mum actually had a dream. I wrote about it in the book. There was one night she was obviously seeing Mrs. Waller nightly, the blue lady nightly, and she was in a deep dream, and she dreamt that my parents actually they made a pond just at the front of the house,
That's
and
right.
as she was dreaming about me outside playing with the dogs, and she came out the front door to try and call for me, and she was shouting for me. She couldn't see me, and she walked kind of halfway down the back lane and spotted me just beside the pond and the two dogs.
It makes you wonder if that was a warning, wasn't it?
Yeah,
it was.
was.
And whenever she reached me, she went to shout for me, and when she shouted my name, I was gone. And she says that she just seen ripples in the water of where I disappeared. And she ran to the water and ran into the water, and she actually was searching under the dirty water, and she pulled me out of like a pillowcase, and I was like a newborn baby, and she was cradling me, and she woke up and she kind of shot up on the bed, and she seen Mrs. Waller at the bottom of the bed, and her head was kind of tilted like as in sorrow for what she witnessed. And then she kind of realized the Mrs. Waller isn't here to harm, she's here to protect.
That's when she realized.
She's trying. She knows what this is going to happen, and within the day, my uncle came up and he filled in the pond, and the pond was no more after that. So it probably would have saved me, because I would have.
It must have.
Yeah, been a wise enough child.
Must have foreseen it.
I would have known not to go near the pond, in a sense of like dive in. I don't know. I didn't know how deep it was. So, but what's not to say I could have fell in by an accident.
Maybe the dog could have watched.
So she had a premonition.
He had this kind of this thinking of this happening.
So did the dog just disappear though, didn't they?
The dog ran away, and
that's weird.
They just disappeared, and we've had dogs over the years that just wouldn't stay on the property. There was one wee dog now we had
that's a shame.
that would have stayed, and she was the one that kind of alerted my parents for the fire. She was the wee dog. She was the one that was the only one that actually stayed around. And eventually then she died and stuff then, so we just never got any more dogs after that. Then that was it. But
makes you realise the dogs must sense it, don't they?
Yeah, and horses too. Horses was another thing. Horses on the property. With my family and my mum's family, they kept horses on the property. And they'd never stayed in the field. My dad would have got up in the morning and the horse would have been looking in the front door at him. And
that's right, that's in the book as well, isn't it? About 10 times it happens the first day that they put them in the field.
The gate was always shut. The gate was always shut.
Makes you wonder though.
Because Dad would go out and he would chase them back into the field again, close the gate, and he would just reach the house and they would be behind him again. And he's like,
that's crazy, isn't it?
But animals can sense.
It was like they always did a dash for the front lane to try and escape. They never stayed. So it was definitely weird.
See how Danny says.
It's brilliant.
See how Danny says there was like somebody drowned in one of the wells.
Yeah. There was a little girl that drowned in one of the wells.
Maybe the entrance is underneath your house, right? And it leads to where she's buried, where she was.
That actually would make sense then, because if there was a tunnel and it was linking into that well, that's where that's all. So maybe that girl wasn't actually buried behind the wall; she was thrown in to the well. Where the well. That's where people kind of maybe drawn to the cellar and then to the tunnel, because it obviously would have been a connection there. So that actually really makes sense. And with Danny not knowing the story or not knowing the history and coming out with that, it's really weird.
I know. There's that much. There's that much that happened to you as a kid in there.
Don't worry, Andrina. Well, what are you doing into the well?
I have to.
I'll do many. I think. No, a well. No one closed.
I have to try and see if I can get something maybe down a camp. I don't know, because you would need a
water.
You don't really know how deep it is neither and how much water is there.
See.
You could maybe like to get an EVP, put it on some long string and put some sellotape around it so it doesn't fall, and just lower it into the thing and see if you get any voices.
Yeah. Hatchie, I didn't notice you, Anne. Hi, Hatchie.
Hello, Hatchie.
I mean, what you could do before, you could get a fishing rod and you could get the high tension. You could put like a magnet on it and drop it down. and see if it brings it up.
Yeah.
But if that didn't work, you could get a GoPro, put it in a case
Yeah.
with a torch, and lower
Anything
it
like
down,
that.
Yeah.
and leave it
Okay,
there.
do you
See
feel
if
as if
it
it
records
comes
them.
from the well or the spirits?
A lot you will find at any haunted place. If there is a well, the well is 9 times out of 10 haunted. It always is. There's always it's either because there's
And as
energy
well,
that passes through it. Because if you think water is a conductor for spirits, it's the way for spirits to manifest, to be able to get energy. So a lot of them will be around water areas.
I was wondering if Kate maybe picked up on it because she has been out there as much. Do you feel as if the water is a big drawing in it, the well?
Yeah.
I can't lie. See, I feel as if maybe a lot of babies has been through down there at some point in time.
You don't know.
Just because.
Yeah. And that used to happen a lot in the olden days.
Yeah, because they
Or
would
dead
have
married mothers and things.
documented these deaths. So there's probably been a lot more deaths than we realise that's on the property, because the property is 200.
And you know that energy can cause negative energy, couldn't it?
Yeah. Because
Yeah, no, it does. It does. If there is negative energy around a property and that attracts the negative, like the more negative, darker spirits. And the thing is your house is, how long's your house might have been there for so long, but that land has been other things as well. So there is residual energy from other times as well. So you've not just got what's happening in that house, you've got everything else. So
that's how it'll be interesting to find out about that. That's interesting. Does it say what it is, if it's a burial site or anything? But
I don't know what it is. I'll send Emma the picture that I took.
Send it on to me and I can take a look and see. I do know that now the Mass Rock is close by, so that would have been at the front entranceway. So I'm thinking maybe would them burials be around that, and that looks to be. So obviously with
I've said to the Sharon Rectory.
It must be like like wee mountains maybe, and the.
It's just strange looking.
I've never seen that. I mean, I've never seen that before.
Where's Ghost Adventures when you need them?
It's weird that, and it's like it's.
Yeah, that's weird.
See, it's because the three of them as well. It looks as if it's deliberately done.
Unless it has a mine.
Very interesting. And that would have been I would assume.
I wouldn't. I have to try and maybe look into it locally to see if maybe anybody knows about.
I'll see if there's a. I'll check out, see if I can find out any history of coal mine.
The coal mines would have been one in Belfast, Glengormley. There would have been ones down in Cork, more further down. I can't find any history of any in Donegal at the minute. You know,
it's maybe just one that didn't last long because it did collapse or something.
Maybe it wasn't a coal mine. Maybe it was something else. Maybe it was.
Yeah. So we don't know what burial sites or burial grounds or mounds or.
That's what I was saying. I said I felt it could be like a mass burial or something. You know what I mean? Because of the way it looks.
Yes.
Strange. Anyway, look, we're worth looking into for sure. Has empty chat got any questions you want to ask?
Hey guys, is there anything in chat, guys? See if you can find it. I'm just having a look at the area.
Sharon and Emma, I am trying to find my ways. I don't understand my dreams, and since I was a kid, my dreams have been coming true in the future. But that sounds like a premonition, Eli. Like if you're having dreams about things that are happening, then it's happening. You're having premonitions. You're having, visions of something that's going to happen.
Yeah, it seems to be like from experiences, like that's what happens. And in our house, we would have these visions, and I think that there's a meaning behind it. Why are you dreaming these things? So
yeah,
it could be something maybe to watch out for. It could be just maybe a sign, a warning of some kind. It just depends on the meaning and what you're dreaming of.
Exactly.
I always take notice of my dreams. I always do, and I have a dream book because I'm quite into my dreams and stuff like that. And like sometimes, like people have these really disturbed dreams, and they don't actually mean anything disturbing. It's completely the opposite,
Chris, tell Emma about your dream about the tree.
The tree?
The dream you keep
Hello, Lost Souls.
I've not had that dream for ages. I've not had that
dream
for ages.
For a while. That's interesting.
Ever since I met my
You've been enlightened.
I've been enlightened.
See, maybe that's what the tree was. The tree was maybe your spirituality, and you found it.
No. What it was it was a lake, right? and in the middle of the lake there was an island. Well, you ever seen the bonsai trees? It was something like that, and there was a man standing at the tree, right? But as I walked to the water, you could walk across because it wasn't deep, but you could never get to the island, right? But then Mary and Danny and Sherry told me about my house guest that usually stands out the back for me, and I've not had the dream since then. And I think it was maybe just him trying to.
But that must have been what it was.
Sometimes, even though you're aware of him being there, like it takes somebody else to say to you, yeah, you're definitely seeing and feeling what you're getting, and that kind of makes them step back a little bit, because they're still there around you and protecting you, but they step back because they're made aware of you're acknowledging him more now, so he doesn't need to be around you 24/7. He just watches over.
I think that he just wanted you to know he was there, Chris.
No, he's there now.
And they go through stages where they'll be there, then they disappear for a bit, then they come back, but they're always aware of you and what you're doing, and
they'll stay around.
The water would represent the emotional side of it too. Water always represents emotions in a dream.
Yeah.
Yeah, but there we go, Chris.
Yeah, that a lot, and you do that. Like there is like the emotion side of them, because if you think their energy is it's an electrical energy, and then obviously with the water, it would manifest their feelings, their emotions, as well as helping them to be stronger. So they find a lot of strength and power from water. It's the main conductor they like to be around.
I have noticed.
And then electricity. They love electricity as well. Okay. That's why your lights go on and off and everything else.
Ever since I became awoke, I've been having weird dreams like you can smell things in the dream. Did you ever have them? Yeah. You can smell flowers.
I've tasted as well. I've tasted things in my dreams. You need to write it all down, Chris, and then look back in a year's time.
It's all natural signs of you communicating with them. That is all natural. When you start opening, you will feel those sort of things. You will start smelling things and tasting things, even to feeling them sometimes and how they're feeling. A lot of people go, "Oh, I've got something's like affecting me really badly. It's negative," and I'm like, "It's not negative. It's just them putting their feelings and emotions onto you. It's how they're feeling."
It took me a long time to realise I was like a sensitive and. The emotions that I feel for other people are not always my own. It took me ages to figure that out. Because some days I was in a great mood, and then somebody would come into my house. It was maybe in a bad mood, or had a rotten day.
The thing is, and this is what I tried to say, everybody to an extent is empathic. Empathic is somebody that picks up on the feelings, emotions and things like that, yeah? Everybody's got a sense of being empathic. We've all got an ability to be able to connect with emotions and feelings of yourself and others. You can always know when your loved one... These are all... abilities we use every day. It's like I said, we've all got that side to us to be able to communicate with the spirit world. It's just some of us are clogged and we're not as open as others because of beliefs, or they don't want to believe in it, or they're scared of it or something. But we've all got those links. And I think if more people were connected in that way, it would be a lot more easier to understand this world. That's why a lot of people are so lost.
Well, so have you been doing investigations in your house? I'm curious to see why you're only being attacked when you go live. It's maybe because you're not bringing attention to some spirit that wants attention. Maybe that's what it is. You're maybe just not connected. When you go live, you're maybe just not connected.
I do lives now. I've got the Lord's Prayer.
Maybe you should mail the Age of Darkness Facebook group if you're on Facebook.
I go to Age of Darkness Facebook group,
right?
And I'll put you in contact with Sharon.
Hi, Nick.
I'm just about to go off 10. I usually go off about 11:30. Thank you for coming, Kate and Emmy. We'll look forward to the second book.
Yes, the second book.
You should make one now.
Second book is going to be wrote whenever it happens, because it's an ongoing thing, so you just don't have an ending just yet. So,
and
you feel as if you would maybe open up the gatehouse, the other house, to maybe investigations and things, Emma.
Whatever, no, No, not when
No.
my kids is.
No.
I wouldn't do
No.
it. No, I wouldn't.
Right.
It's just it's like the main house is something because it's different. It's more kind of like the historical side of it and the history around
Right.
that we
Mhm.
Yeah.
focused on. But with my house, with my kids here and things, I just wouldn't.
No,
I wouldn't
definitely
be-
not.
Yeah, no, it'd be too risky.
Understandable, I have.
Too risky.
Mhm.
Yeah, and I
We
just
need-
don't
we-
think it would with
We need to
bringing
get rid of
people
that
on
evil whatever's there.
like that.
You've got
Yeah.
a great story to tell anyway, so
You have.
It will be sorted, like
Yeah.
Pup said, that she's got to message Pups and then talk, obviously talk to me and
I'll
Drew.
put you in
Like we said, me
contact.
and Drew will get together and try and help as well. You know what I mean? She's got
Yeah.
people here that can help her.
Yeah.
What I'll do, Emma, is I'll add you to the Age of Darkness Facebook chat,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And that,
Yeah.
and I'll add Kate, I'll add you, Tay, and that'll give
Love
you a
it, our
chance to
heads
talk to
together.
Danny and Sherry and Drew and me.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Can keep
I'll do that
communicating.
shortly.
Yeah, and if you like go over the video and watch it, you can see my channel in there anyway because I'm under Paranormal World Investigator. So you're welcome
Yeah.
to go over and
Mhm.
check me out as well if you want.
Of course,
And
I will.
in-
Yeah, I'll join it.
MD in the chat, guys. The link below when this is uploaded.
Thanks,
Click the wee box. You'll find
Please,
the page to
amazing, guys.
Sharon Rectory Facebook. You'll find
Great
the
read.
book on sale on Amazon and Sherry's shop. We've got yours there too, and Tinfoil Paco. And thanks everybody for coming. And
It's
thank
been
you
a
guys.
pleasure to talk to you, Emma.
Love and light, angels. Be safe.
Bye.
And like